Hello friends! Okay, let's catch up for a second. Things have been super hectic on my end because I just moved across the ocean to New York. What? Yeah, I know, right? It's pretty crazy. It happened so quickly. I think it was 2 weeks to sort absolutely everything out, so it was insane. But I'll go into the details of that in the next video. I shot a bunch of footage, but I still need some time to comb through it, so bear with me. In the meantime, whilst things were starting to get pretty hectic in Hong Kong, it just so happened that on a random day I opened the door and saw this leaflet. Actually no, let's make it more believable. So I opened the door and saw this leaflet. You know what? Imagine that what I opened was the door of a mailbox like this, and then I saw this leaflet. Ta-da! I was being a bit lazy because technically I could have gone downstairs to film me opening the mailbox, but I was in pajamas and, effort. The leaflet showed me the menu for the coming week and that I had to order before the 12 PM cutoff time on Friday. There's a regular, a vegetarian version, and a flexitarian version. Given how busy it's been, I thought, okay, why not give it a shot? The site is pretty user-friendly. I'd already chosen the regular menu. Then you select your goal or type of plan and how long you want to order it for. 3 meals a day for 1 week seemed a good way to test it out. Then, underneath it shows the pictures and macronutrients of all the foods you can expect to have. You can add or subtract individual meals to your taste. To be completely honest, I was quite surprised at how low the numbers were for a plan that's supposedly for muscle building, but I thought I'd try it anyway. I thought it'd be curious to see how close to the pictures the actual foods are. You put in all your details, check out la-di-da-di-da, di-da-di-da-di-da, and that's it! Oh, and you can put in your door code if you have one. They deliver the day's food between 5 AM to 7 AM every morning. Alright then, on to the first day, Monday. I received a text message from the delivery person to let me know that the food is outside my door. Sure enough, there it is. Tandoori chicken, the lunch, Icelandic cod, the dinner, and the Greek omelette, which was the breakfast. I actually forgot to take a photo of the omelette, I'm so sorry. The chicken was salty, but the egg was very fluffy, especially after heating it up, and it was a good quantity too. Here's me microwaving the lunch. Voila! The chicken looked pretty close to the picture. Different presentation of course, but honestly it looked tidy and healthy and colourful. The tandoori chicken came with a very rich sauce, which was tasty and not too spicy. The chicken was juicy. All the chicken seemed to be prepared in a similar way. It's called sous vide, I think that's how you pronounce it. The cod didn't look as pretty and colourful, but it looked healthy. Lots of veggies, and if I were getting delivery I'd probably not find or choose something with cod in. So there's some nice variety going on here. The cod was very soft and had a salsa dressing. The fish was a bit sweet, which was okay. The cod was quite light, so I was still hungry afterwards. Tuesday. Here's the frittata. The verdict? The frittata was a big block and looked like a brick. It's very heavy. It's more food than you'd expect because it filled up the entire container. It tasted a bit like pie or quiche. I think quiche is more accurate. Lunch was soulfish, Thai style. I think this was an Asian cuisine week. This one didn't taste too Thai. The green coconut curry was yummy. The fish itself didn't have much taste, but it's definitely very lean and healthy. Then there was pork for dinner, which I didn't have. I did try the sweet potatoes though. They were sweet, since they're sweet potatoes. The verdict on this one was apparently very good. You can really taste the ginger. The seaweed came in a separate container and I remember it tasted quite sour. It was a bit like some seaweed vinaigrette or something. Wednesday. Smoked chicken sofrito for breakfast. After heating it, it's impossible to pick up with hands because it gets too hot, so you'll need a knife and a fork. It looked a bit messy after I mixed it up. Sofrito doesn't react well with the microwave since it becomes too soft, but the ingredients are still very good and fresh. It's a bit like a breakfast burrito bowl. Okay, I totally forgot to take photos of these two, but they did look quite similar to these photos. I've got to say, the quality is pretty good. The taste of the chicken was disappointing since it is the heaviest meal they had of the week and I was expecting it to be super tasty, but it just tasted like a super lean burger that had fatty sauce put over it. As for dinner, red snapper. Wow, 3 types of fish in 3 days. And I hadn't had Brussels sprouts in ages, so this was wonderful. I really like Brussels sprouts. But I would say that this was a forgettable dish, so I don't really have that much to say about this one. Thursday. This was the day where I chose to not get the breakfast and I got 2 lunches instead. The price stayed the same, in case you were wondering. This was pretty tasty. I wish they didn't put pieces of garlic all over it, but that's a personal preference. As you can see with these 2 boxes, the quantities are consistent, as is the presentation. This was really delicious and probably one of my favorite meals. Really tender even after heating, and the sauce was clearly fantastic. I wish it came with rice instead of noodles though, because it would have been a really great pairing with the sauce. And there's kimchi. What's not to like about this one? Dinner consisted of prawns. I'm not a huge fan of prawns or sesame seeds. The veggies and the rice were great though. I think the rice was very yummy because it was done in a Malay style called nasi goreng. It's a bit like fried rice. The vegetables were a bit mushy after microwaving. Friday. For breakfast, it's smoked trout. This was a favorite. The trout is cured and very salty, and it's a bit like jerky, but it's soft instead of chewy. You can taste the smokiness. It doesn't taste Japanese though. It's more Icelandic, I'd say. And it's a very filling meal for the macros it has. Again, sorry I forgot to take photos of these, but I got too hungry. And these looked pretty tasty, so I totally forgot. The chicken for lunch had a very average taste, but I can see how people might like it. It comes with cashews, so if you have a nut allergy, watch out. I think Nutrition Kitchen asks if you have any allergies. The sauce was a bit too sweet, and it's another dish that would have probably worked better with rice. It's not bad though if you like Americanized Chinese food. The dinner was braised beef cheek. To me, the beef was a bit dry. I didn't feel bloated after eating this, and the stewed meat goes really well with the sweet potato mash. Maybe it's because the meat is a bit sweet too. It's also quite light, surprisingly, and it's not as spicy as it looks. Now then, 15 meals later. Is it worth it? Let's calculate. First, looking at the cost per working week. With nutrition, one meal is on average almost $14 US. 15 meals makes it $208 US. P.S. I had a small discount for the first time use. And a heads up, they sometimes send out 100 Hong Kong dollar vouchers. I just received one that I could have used for the coming week. If I were to get delivery, I would not need 3 meals since the portions are bigger. And one meal is just under $13 US. And so 10 meals for a working week would be $127.8 US. If I were to buy and make home cooked meals, I'd probably make 2 to 3 meals a day. But on average, that'd be $5 per meal, US dollars that is. 15 meals would be $76.68 US. The next important factor to consider is time. Nutrition Kitchen is by far the most efficient because you only need to make your decision once and then you're done for the week. The food just comes to your door every morning. But again, this has to work with your working hours, so if you're not home to receive the meals, that's a bit of an issue. Delivery isn't too bad when it comes to time, but you do sometimes get paralyzed by choice. And it's a decision you have to make every time you want something. So unless you have a set handful of places you always pick from, it may take you around 10 minutes each time. And the time of the delivery depends on how busy the delivery people and the restaurants are. Granted, sometimes there are some sweet deals, but it's pretty hard to plan ahead with this. Home cooked is always the most time consuming. I didn't even realize that it took up so much of my time. I usually cook at home when I can, but wow, a whopping 6 hours? Even though I don't make anything complex, the shopping, the washing, the chopping can take quite a bit of time. Although in the moment, it doesn't really feel that long. Guess it's because you're not waiting like when you wait for a delivery. You're actually actively doing something, aka cooking. Let me simplify this. All in all, it really does depend on what you value more, your time, your money, or other factors like health and variety. I think this plan is quite worth it because the problem with eating in Hong Kong is that you do end up wasting a lot of time considering all the options. I know. What a first world problem, huh? And especially during a pandemic when you can't really eat out most of the time, it's a great way of maintaining variety in your diet and saving time. Since this meal plan is only 15 to 1600 calories a day, I think for most adults you can add in another snack if you get hungry. The downside is that yes, it is expensive for the portion size. The meals that you get through delivery may be better value in terms of portion size. However, the health factor is very questionable. Healthy, cheap, efficient, tasty. It's as though you can only pick 2 or 3 out of those 4 things. What do you think? What are the most important factors to you when considering a meal plan like this versus delivery and home cooked? Have you ever tried a meal plan like Nutrition Kitchen? What were your experiences like? Definitely let me know in the comments below because I'm super curious to hear what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And I will see you next time where I will be taking you through the 2 super hectic weeks that I had leading up to my journey from Hong Kong to New York. Bye bye!